Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you guys have not been on this channel before and you're new, welcome. I do beauty related videos, but today I'm going to be adding a new video to my law school playlist, and it's on study tips. So I guess introduction for all of you guys who have never seen me before, never heard of me, whatever. Yeah, I'm a law student slash beauty blogger, but I've decided to introduce more law school related videos and study tip related videos onto this channel just because it is a really big part of my life and I study a lot. So I thought I could shed some light on some tips and tricks on how you guys can succeed in your studying endeavors as well. So let's get right into it. Today, as an example of one form of notes organization, I'm going to be using constitutional law as an example. Now, organization of notes is very important, but it also differs depending on how your professor structures the course. So, for example, some professors do not follow the textbook and some do. Some professors use PowerPoints and other ones do not. Some use charts, flow charts, and handouts in class, and others do not. So depending on the lecture style is how I do my notes. So I think if I have time, I will also cover how I organize my notes for professors who like to give out handouts, who like to do textbook notes, and professors who kind of just lecture without any structure at all. So yeah, let's get right into it. For this video, I'm going to be using my constitutional law professor's structure of his course in order to explain how I organized my notes. Okay, so first off, you want to figure this out as soon as possible, because the faster you figure out how a course is organized, the easier it is for you to follow along with the courses, take effective notes, and have an effective filing system. So for this particular course, constitutional law, my professor relied heavily on lecture slides. So for every single class, he did a PowerPoint presentation, and he would lecture based on those slides. And on the slides usually has a good deal of information that he would read out loud, and he would also expand on each point on the slide. And the points on the slides, the orders are very important because he would be going through rules and analyses. I don't even know how to pronounce it. The analysis for certain things that you need to write and include in every single exam in order to effectively answer a question. So basically how I organized for this exam, every single time I went to the lecture hall, and this also depends on when they post the PowerPoint. If they post prior to giving the class, then this is the organizational method you want to use. But if they post after the fact, there's another method, and I'll go over that with you guys as well, because my IP law professor posted the PowerPoint after he gave the lecture, which was so annoying. But regardless, that's what he did. And there's a totally different form of notes organization that I used for his course. But for constitutional law, this is for when professors give lectures with a PowerPoint. Okay, so I would download the PowerPoint prior to entering the class, and when you go on PowerPoint, you can make notes on each slide. And what that means is you can there's like a notes section, so you view the PowerPoint, the little square, and then you drag the bottom, there's like a bar, you can drag it up, and at the bottom you can write notes. So what I would do is I would listen to his lectures, watch him like go through whatever slides on the screen, and whatever came out of his mouth I would type underneath, so long as it was not on the actual PowerPoint itself. Whatever came out of his mouth I would summarize in notes and write it underneath each slide, and I would save the document like this. So I did this for every single class, and well, all the classes that I made it to, but for most of the classes, every single class I would do that, so I would have a complete set of lecture notes. So then afterwards, during the exam period, for lecture notes to make notes for based on lecture notes, there's a separate category for textbook notes, and I'll go through that in a bit. But for the lecture notes, I would have a full set. And in order to organize that in a way that is effective for you to either memorize or to make into a take, or in order to make it into open book exam notes, is a whole other spiel. So basically what I do, I have a Mac computer, and I don't really like to print the notes on based on the PowerPoint format, because I feel like it takes up a lot of pages, and by the end of the semester you're gonna have like thousands of pages of notes if you do that. And to print the PowerPoint, like usually for the notes thing, it would be a small picture of the PowerPoint and then the whole page full of notes. That's not effective spacing when you're trying to print, and a lot of the times you spend a lot of money on printing. So to fix that problem, what I did was I did a screenshot of each of the PowerPoint slides, and you can do this throughout the semester. Every week you can just do this method. But what I would do, and I'm going to just show you, I'm going to show you a binder. What I would do is I would screenshot that particular slide. I would paste it onto a Word document, the screenshot, because I don't like to copy and paste just the words, because I like to distinguish what was, like what the professor said and what I said. So I would paste that onto the Word document, then I would copy all the notes on the underneath note section, and I would paste it below. So I would have everything to do with standing. So standing is the first topic, what the professor put on the PowerPoint as standing, that are the important key facts, and then an explanation of each subtopic that he spoke about is under here, because that's what came out of his mouth during the lecture. So when you go back and refresh and study through your notes, you're going to have a perfect understanding of what the professor wants you to know and what he expects you to have for the exam. Okay, so after you do that, after you finish that entire method and you go through it every single week, you're going to have a nice document with all the topics, all the PowerPoint slides that you need to know, and all of your own personal notes of your lecture notes. So in the end, you will have a massive document like this. And what I like to do for the finals, I put it in a binder like this, and I would put tabs for each section. So each topic would have a header, and I would put a little tab. And these tabs are my favorite tabs. They are by Post-it, and they're the plastic ones. I like the plastic stiff ones in particular because, first of all, the stickiness is really great. I like that they're the plastic stiff ones because they don't rip easily and they don't fall out easily. I also like it because you can use a Sharpie on them and write really bold. Let me just pull off one of them. You can write really bold letters. So it's really effective. I also like the fact that their spacing, they don't take up much space on a page, so you're going to be able to put a lot of them around the perimeter of your page. I hate it when tabs are so big that you have to overlap them, because that's not effective. When you want to look at a section, you want to look down and know exactly which section you want to go to, and then just flip to the page. If they are too big, they're going to overlap and you're not going to be able to see, so there's going to be no point of putting tabs on a page. So these are my favorite ones. I seem so angry in this video because I'm not smiling a lot, because I'm like taking this really seriously, but I really want to help you guys. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, so that's the first thing for organizing lecture notes. Okay, the second thing is textbook notes and readings. So for this particular course, we had 2 textbooks. And depending on your course, you'll probably have 1 or 2, but it really doesn't matter. So what I did in the textbooks is, for all the relevant sections that I had to read, I would read them and I would highlight. But highlighting there's a particular method to my highlighting. Okay, first of all, here's the first page that I highlighted. You can note that I have some yellows and I have some greens. So I color code, and the reason for that is because it helps stick in your brain, and it helps you go back when you're going back and looking for particular information. You can find it easily, directly, and effectively. So yellow is for important information, obviously, and green is, I use green highlighter whenever there is an act, a statute, or a person of importance. So a person of importance can be anything. So this is constitutional, so it can be anything from Alexander Hamilton to Lord Justice whatever. Also, what I like to do, because constitutional law has a lot of amendments, I also like to go ahead and highlight which amendment it is, just so when you're like getting bored and you're like dozing off, you like reading a section, you're like, crap, what amendment was that? You just flash your eyes to the green and you already know which one it is, so then it just refreshes in your brain. I don't know, maybe that's just my own problem, because sometimes like I'm reading and I'm like, what is this again that I'm reading? And then you just look up. Or you or another thing is I also highlight in green the case. So for example, this case, what does this say? This says McDonald v. City of Chicago. You know what's a weird thing? In the UK, when there's a V, people say and, you use the word and, so it would be Chicago, McDonald and City of Chicago. But in the US, they say versus, which is like weird. But the correct way of saying it is saying and, McDonald and City of Chicago. Anyways, because I did this green, I would know that this is the case, and then these First Amendment or Seventh Amendment, Fourth, Third, and Eighth Amendment are all elements of this particular case at hand. So it's so much easier when you look back and you have to do a quick reference. So anyways, I go through the entire textbook and I highlight, well, all the sections that I have to read. First of all, I put these tabs in so I know which pages that I have to read, because sometimes you don't have to read every single page. And I just go through and I highlight with the same approach. Also, I want to, I also make some notes sometimes because the textbooks are usually kind of unclear, so it would be like whatever it is, and then I would put like rule or whatever when it's not clear. The way I highlight, it's very to the point, and basically the way I highlight makes it easy for me to go back and when I do textbook notes and type it into a document, I just do point form and I just write out the highlighted sections, and the whole thing makes coherent sense. And as you can see, I do not highlight an entire paragraph. There are lots of gaps in between what I highlight. Let's go through this one. Lots of gaps. And the reason for that is, I also, if there's ever any word that says first step, second step, or firstly, secondly, thirdly, fourthly, I circle it in a blue pen just so I know that there's elements that I need to establish in order to answer a question effectively. Anyways, so basically, if you read this, if you just read the yellow, it would make total sense because I just take out the keywords. Sometimes you have to like change past or present tense in order to make the sentence make sense, but that you would do that automatically with your brain when you're typing it out. And I feel like a lot of people don't really know how to highlight. Some people just highlight entire paragraphs. It's like, girl, like you can take out some words and the paragraph still makes sense. And then you would put it into textbook notes. So after you typed out all those after you've highlighted and after you've typed out all those highlight sections, this is what you're left with. Okay, so in the beginning here, I just have some loose leaf documents. These are sample exam questions that I answered, and also practice problems that the professor discussed in class that I highlighted. But then here is how my actual notes look like. And I did a table of contents. So for each topic, so each big, if I can zoom in, each of these big sections are one of these tabs. So if I ever need to like quickly look for something, I would look for one of these tabs. Okay, and then for the more likely questions that I think will arise, I use one of these smaller tags here. These are the looser post-it tags. So for that, I just used it down here as well for things that I think are likely to arise. And I learned those points through the past papers, and that's why I was able to make page flags. So because I followed the books and the notes strictly, I just go to whatever topic, justiciability, and then I would automatically have that. So I also use color coding as well for these notes. Justiciability, which is like a topic heading, is in purple. And then I did one, I listed out in numbers, as you can see. numbers 1, 2, 3. I don't know where 4 is. 4. So those are the different types of issues that might arise. Yeah, those are the different issues that might arise, and everything else that you need to know that's important underneath it will show up. And also, I did these like weird little, like I did a lot of these little stickers because a lot of the times the rule is not clear. There would be all this like jazz of why the law was created, this and that, and all this other stuff, but sometimes you just have to get straight to the point. So I would put like a little green sticker and I would just write rule beside like the highlighted part. That's the most important. So this only applies for law, but I'm sure for any other subject, science or whatever, the most important conclusion, like whenever there's like a conclusion, I would just put like a little sticker just so my eyes can go directly into it. And I also, another thing, if you're studying law, there's always exceptions, and an orange sticker is exception. So that just draws my eye directly to it. So if I'm on a page and I'm like panicking during an exam, I'm like writing like, oh, this problem would be solved like this because these are the rules, except in cases where it's like this. So then I would just look at it, I would note it, I would see it immediately, I wouldn't forget to leave it out, and I wouldn't lose that tricky point. So that's that. So yeah. So that's basically how I organized my notes for this particular course, which was PowerPoint lectures with textbook readings. Also, there's like case readings, but I never did that because for me personally, I'm like lazy. And second of all, it's summarized in the casebook, so I never did it. I didn't want to waste time. So it depends on you how good of a student you are. You can obviously read the cases and have an even brighter overview of everything, but then I just kind of get straight to the point, and I like to do effective studying, so I kind of skip steps sometimes. But I did get a 4.0 in this course, so you're listening to the right person study-wise, if that makes sense. And if you guys are not studying law, hopefully you guys learn some organizational tips. Also, let me just address this real quick, the binding. I got this done at a FedEx. The frost cover because I like the texture it gives. I don't like the shiny one because I think it's distracting and it reflects light a lot, especially if you're in a fluorescent setting. Also, it leaves fingerprints. This one does not. It's the frosted one. Binding on the side, and what you want to do is you don't want to flag the pages before binding. They need it all perfect in A5 size, or sorry, A4 size with nothing on the sides because they have to put it in the machine to bind it. So you want to have all your documents really organized really nicely on your Word document, print them all out, have them bind it, then put the page flags, and then you do your effective studying. And the reason why I like to do these is because obviously when you go to an open book exam, the desk is really, really small. So this is really good because you can just fold it over like a book and you can just have the page that you need. Also, as you saw, I had a binder with me, so that also takes up space. I would have done that for the binder as well, but I didn't have enough time to get that one binded, so I just went with the binder method. And plus, that one was created during the year anyways, so I used that to organize my studying during the year, not so much at the end. So at the end, basically, this is all I needed in the exam. I didn't even need my lecture notes because it was all in here because I went over it so many times. So by doing organizing, technically, organizing makes you study, and it just makes your life so much easier because you're not sitting there trying to cram everything in at last minute. You just do these like little easy organizing things throughout the year, and at the end of the day, like, you've already studied everything, you know everything, and it makes your life so much more easier. So that's my most important tip. And what else do I want to touch on? I think that's about it. So if you guys want to know more study tips, ask me questions down below in this video. Also, thumbs up if you like the video, and comment whether or not you guys want me to go through other organizational tips for when the professor gives a PowerPoint after the lecture, and for other structured lectures where lecturers just go out of textbook or go through just like problem questions or different types of ways. So this kind of, I guess, this kind of video kind of applies more to arts and humanities types of studies, or social studies, social sciences as well. Not so much for sciences. So I don't know, maybe I could get a friend in to like come talk about it, but this channel is mine. So if you guys are thinking about going to law school, in law school, or doing philosophy, history, whatever, and have similar types of things that need to be organized in this manner, I think this video is helpful for you guys. I think I'm talking like really weird. Also, final remarks, I want to show you guys something super cute. I bought this notepad and it says notes on it, and it has a magnetic thing on it, and I have in this dormitory that I'm in, I have a metal frame on this desk that I can just stick it to, and it is just perfect because it's exam season right now, and I'm ahead on my studying because I do a study schedule, and basically I do a topic per day, and I'm two topics ahead of schedule right now, and I do like a little checkbox, and then because it's right in front of my face, I don't forget to do it because it sticks right on the metallic frame on my desk. And that's another little study tip that I can give you guys. Definitely do a schedule. At the end of this video, it's already 30 minutes long, but I thought it would be a good video to post because a lot of people are going to finals now, and or whenever you're watching this, anytime is a good time to start. And the earlier you start, the easier you make your life. So that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll speak to you guys in my next one.